The red car rustled along the dirt road as usual and drove its owner to her home. There, in a small village, hidden from the whole world, two beloved men are waiting for her son Danil and her husband Sergei. Natalia smiled, imagining how happy her son would be to meet his mother and how his hands would shake in anticipation of gifts. The woman had not seen her son for several days because she was going to a nearby village to visit her sick parents. Soft, pleasant music was playing in the cabin, creating an atmosphere of comfort and warmth. After driving into the forest part of the road, Natalia realized that dusk was already falling on the forest and turned on the headlights. A few more kilometers and she's home. Suddenly Natalia's thoughts were dispelled by a strange car standing across the road. It was a big SUV with young guys hanging around. Maybe something happened? Natalia asked without any thoughts. Maybe some help is needed. With these thoughts in mind, she stopped by the SUV and opened the window. Did something happen to you guys? What is it? She asked, shouting over the music in the Jeep. The guy who came up bent down to her to make out her voice, but then, after looking at her, answered. Well, yes, we need help, come with me, you can help. Natalia got out of her car and went after the guy. The music stopped, apparently to make it easier to communicate with the woman who appeared. So who needs help here? Still not understanding what was going on here, Natalia tried to find out from the three guys who surrounded her. So we all need it. One of them replied and put his hand on her buttock. Can you help me? Yes, we will not offend. There's money, don't worry. And only now did Natalia realize what these scoundrels wanted from her. She turned around and slapped the insolent man with a resounding slap in the face. Wow! He laughed. A lady with character. I like her. And at that moment, someone grabbed Natalia by the hair from behind, lifting her up and pulling her to him. The woman tried to fight back, tears immediately flowed from her eyes. Boys, don't. Well, let me go. I won't tell anyone. And the guys she slapped came up to her and defiantly, one by one, began to undo the buttons on her blouse, as if her requests gave him pleasure. Well, okay, we've talked and that's enough. Suddenly he said in an iron tone, it's time to get down to business. With these words, he grabbed the girl and threw her onto the grass, climbing on top of her himself. Dick! Help me! Suddenly, a woman screamed. And at that moment, a huge gray wolf appeared from the car window. The eyes of the drunken rowdies immediately widened. The wolf reached them in 2 leaps and knocked the rapist off his mistress with a blow of his chest. The guy, not understanding what happened, tried to get up, but the wolf immediately rushed at him, starting to tear like a rag doll. His friends immediately sobered up and tried to fight off their comrade, armed with long sticks picked up here in the forest. But Dick, turning to them and baring his fangs, immediately convinced them of this idea. Seeing the fury of the wolf, the guys dropped their weapons and tried to escape. But Dick immediately overtook one of them, knocking him to the ground and trying to grab him right by the throat. The second scoundrel managed to jump into the car and close the door behind him, locking all the locks. Getting up, Natalia straightened her torn clothes, and commanded the wolf. Dick, that's enough. No need. The wolf obediently moved away from his victim, still keeping his eyes on the bloody man. Guard it, Dick. The woman commanded, trying to find her phone, and the wolf obediently sat down next to the villains. About an hour later, police and ambulance cars arrived. The district police officer recorded all the circumstances of the incident, and the doctors provided assistance to the injured scum. Well, I understand everything here, said the policeman who came up. A previously convicted citizen, intoxicated, in collusion with his accomplices decided to perform obscene acts. He reported. "I can't understand one thing," the policeman said, scratching his head. "How did you tame a wolf, and even train it like that?" "What is it?" he asked, glancing warily at the gray predator. Natalia smiled. "So I found him very tiny. My husband and I were walking in the forest, picking mushrooms and berries, so I found him." Her face became gloomy, plunging into these memories. He was sitting next to his dead mother and howling. It is clear that he has spent more than one day without food and water. I then soldered him with milk from a syringe. I messed with him worse than with a child. She smiled and patted the wolf behind the ears. Apparently, he remembers everything, and he pays for it. And training a wolf is a useless activity. If he doesn't want to, there's no way to force him. So everything he does is purely at will. Yes, well done. The policeman was surprised, not taking his eyes off the approaching wolf and trying to move away from him imperceptibly, without giving any sign that he was afraid. "Okay, I've fixed everything I need. You can be free. If I need you, I'll call you," he said and, turning around, walked quickly to his car. Natalia couldn't help but smile at the guard's reaction. "Shall we go home, Dick?" "What is it?" she asked her gray traveling companion. And as if he understood what she was talking about, he immediately dived into the back seat of the car. Sitting in her own kitchen, having already taken a bath and put her son to bed, Natalia looked at her husband's restless eyes. No, how could they? He was still indignant. If it wasn't for Dick, it would be scary to think. He looked at the wolf sleeping in the corner. Natalia put her hand on her husband's arm and smiled slightly. "Yes, calm down, it's all right. Thanks to our wolf cub. And I won't be such a fool anymore, and I won't believe everyone I meet," she promised Sergei. The man hugged his wife and said in a guilty voice. "Do you remember, and I was still against you taking him out of the forest with you then." "I remember," Natalia confirmed, laughing. "We almost had a fight about it back then. And look at what a friend and guard he has become to us." Sergei nodded his head in silence, confirming that he was wrong. After these words, Dick suddenly raised his muzzle and barked approvingly. "That's what Dick confirms," Natalia laughed, hugging her husband even tighter. Dear viewers, if you liked this video, then like and subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.